Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And today we are sharing Stephanie's story at 43. But before we get started, Stephanie, let's begin you getting married and when that happened and if you wanted kids.
We got married in 2020, but we have been together since 2009. Some things happened in between that caused us to keep pushing it back. I always wanted kids, at least one or two, more than three. I was like 27, 28 when we got together. But a couple years later, I'm like, okay, let's try to have a baby. My husband's 11 years older than me. So he has kids, but I wanted my own. It didn't happen for 4 years when we really started trying. And I always thought something was wrong because I'm like, why is this not happening? You have kids. I know it ain't you, but why is this not happening? So I went and did the test where they check for your fallopian tubes and make sure they're open and no scar tissue or anything. Everything was fine. All tests were normal. I would freak out about it, but it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just not worry about it. God is in your hands, whatever. I just let it be.
How
So
long
I
did
was,
you try to have kids before you went to the doctor?
oh, I think we tried for about a year and a half or so before I went to the doctor. And it
Hmm.
was only just me timing the ovulations and all of that. And then I went to my doctor and I was like, okay, what's going on? And then we set up I cannot remember. I think it's like histosalpingogram or something. But we set that appointment up, did that, got the results, everything was fine. So we just kept trying for sure. And it just wasn't happening. But God's timing, not mine.
And you
So
had
yeah, so
fibroid, they found fibroids, correct?
32. And then that's when they found fibroids. They put me on a birth control to shrink the fibroids because once they get to a certain size, there's other options. But I was like, let's do what we can without those options. But yeah, I was 32 when I had him, found the fibroids shortly thereafter. I was about 34 and I got on the birth control to shrink them and they did shrink, luckily.
So were
So
you
yeah.
planning? Did you want any more kids?
When my son turned two, like 2 or 3, I was gonna get off the birth control and then we were gonna plan for another one. By the time he turned two, a couple of months later, my husband got custody of 3 of his boys. I instantly became a mom of 4 boys in the house, which was like, what? I barely knew what I was doing with this 2-year old. And now I have to raise some preteens. But yeah, so after that, I decided, no, I don't want anymore because this is enough, right? But I ended up finding out that I had high blood pressure. A lot was going on at the time, so my blood pressure was elevating, but the birth control that I was on was kind of a contradiction, a contraindication of the birth control that I was on and the blood pressure medication. So I made a decision to get off of the birth control just to at least give my body a little rest from it all and just try to get my blood pressure regulated. And yeah, 2 years after deciding to get off the birth control and was feeling fine and not thinking of having a fear.
Can you walk us through that story?
Yeah, so yeah, I was late on my cycle, but I didn't think anything of it because that's happened periodically in my life. So I didn't think anything of it. And I was going through a phase where I won't say I was stressed, but I was at a place where I just felt like something needed to change in my life. I just wasn't, I don't know, I just felt like I was in a house full of boys. I needed more feminine energy. Like I just needed something. And so I really feel like I manifested this baby, but subconsciously. But I was just in this weird place where I'm like, okay, whatever. So I didn't think anything about my cycle being late. And it was late September, my cycle was supposed to come, okay, of 2023.
You were
Um,
42 then?
I was 42 and then found that I was pregnant that October and then had the baby in 2024.
Gotcha.
Yes. So late September, cycle didn't come, whatever. I ain't thinking about it because all this is going on. But I just started realizing like I'm just a bit nauseous. Everything is making me sick. I'm so irritated. Just what is going on? And with my son, how I found out I was pregnant with him is because I was so sleepy. I fell asleep at the wheel one time.
Oh
And that's
my.
what really made me go to the doctor to see what was wrong. But I was so sleepy with him, but with this one, I wasn't sleepy at all. I was just like just nauseous. I wasn't nauseous with my son, period, at all. But this time I was very nauseous. And so me and my husband, we actually got into an argument that day. And I was just like, whatever, I'm taking the keys, I'm going to the store. I just need to go get something. He didn't know what it was. Went and got a pregnancy test, came home, I went upstairs, took the pregnancy test. And I'm not thinking like I'm pregnant, but I'm like, let me just rule this out.
Mm.
Pregnancy was the farthest thing from my mind, Jamie. I was like, maybe there's something I ate or just I need to change my diet. So I go take this test. I'm like, whatever. I pee on the stick, put the thing down. I'm sitting there playing Monopoly on my phone. And I just happened to glance over and I saw, and I was like, what the beep? So loud. I hear my husband come run upstairs. I'm like, don't come in here. Don't come in here. Because I'm like, what? This was not the plan. Yeah.
So, did you like you were in shock,
Mm,
but were you
yeah.
also excited or were you, how were you feeling?
That day, I was in shock. Like the shock lasted that whole day. And like the next day, I was crying because I was like, oh my God. I was just the shock of it all. I
Hmm.
wasn't like disappointed or anything. It was just like, is this really happening? And my husband was like, how'd that happen? I'm like, really, dude? But the initial shock of it all and the fact that of my age, right? As I said, I worked in perinatal, so I knew of the advanced maternal age. So because of my age and my blood pressure, that scared me.
Hmm.
I was like, I was shocked. When the shock went away, I was like, okay, the reality of this situation. Like, I'm 42 at the time, and I have this blood pressure, which wasn't like super uncontrolled, but I knew it was there, right? And so I'm like, I don't know. And my husband was like, we can do this. You're fine. Blah, blah, blah. You've worked out before and got your blood pressure down. We can do it again. It's going to be okay. He was more positive. I was more not like negative, but just the reality of it all because I knew how things could go based off my healthcare background. But I just, I instantly knew she was a girl and I was excited after that.
Oh, that's
Very
fun.
excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us, how was the pregnancy?
My pregnancy was so good. This pregnancy, I felt more feminine. I felt
Oh.
softer. I felt good. My blood pressure was amazing. My skin was like, and so I felt really good. I felt pretty. I felt like health-wise, everything was great. Yeah, my pregnancy was really good.
And what about your doctor? Did you just go to your OB that you used with your son?
I did not.
Oh.
That OB did not take my insurance anymore. So I
Oh.
had to find another. Now that was a scare for me because I had been with my previous doctor, Dr. Speaks. I had been with her for forever through trying to get pregnant, the fibroids, and then having my son, and then now having to find a new OB. That was scary for me. Ones that I wanted to find, the one I really wanted, she was out on maternity leave. There was another second option. She was like so booked. And then there was a third option. I was leaving messages and no one would ever call me back. So I'm like, I don't want to go there. So I end up taking this other choice. And yeah, so that was scary. I won't say that she's necessarily a bad doctor. I won't say that. But her bedside manner could use some improvement. I'll say
Okay, I
that.
understand.
Yeah, yeah.
What was important to you when you were looking for a doctor?
You got to help me bring this life into the world. So I wanted it to be more of a relationship instead of a transaction. Like my doctor before I even thought of having kids, I had been with her. And I didn't
Hmm.
expect the relationships to be the same between the old doctor and the new doctor. However, me working in the medical field and working around doctors, I expected a little bit more from her. And just in totality, like her throughput or just how thorough she was or was not. I just
Hmm.
expected a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, I expected to be at least somewhat of a relationship and understanding of, okay, this is what the goal is, and this is
Hmm.
how we're going to get there versus, hey, okay, this, and you're on to the next one. Felt like a number.
So you said you knew it was a girl. How did you find out? Or did you find out?
Yes, I did find out, but and like I said, I think I manifested her because prior to that, I have a house full of boys, and I was praying for Lord, just bring me some more joy. I always said joy, bring me more joy, bring me more feminine energy, or whether that's hanging out more with my girls, my
Hmm.
friends, and something, bring me new people in my path that would bring this energy to me, right?
Hmm.
Because I just felt like I wasn't myself. And so I think that when I found out I was pregnant with her, like that day I kept calling her the she. I don't know if I can have her, like my health and my age and her. I just kept calling my husband like, it's gonna be a boy. I'm like, no, it's definitely a girl. It's definitely a girl. So whatever. But I just something in my spirit just knew it was a girl. And I think that was God giving me that feminine energy in a way that I had been praying for and giving me that joy, which her middle name is Joy.
Oh, I love that.
So
Tell us how you found out.
my baseball mom. So one of my best friends and I plan to have a gender reveal in December. No, we planned it for January to have the gender reveal. But she's the one that got the results. I didn't want the results.
How far along
So
were you?
I was 16, 17 weeks when I got the PT. And then they sent the results. I was probably about going on 18 weeks or so. And so I was like, hey, they emailed me the results, but I'm gonna just forward it over to you. Because then she's planning the gender reveal, right? And
Mhm.
so her and my little sister got the results. And so I'm like, but I was so anxious, like I couldn't even sleep. Because I'm like, I have to know if this is a girl. Like I cannot wait. And so she didn't even talk to me. Usually we'd be on the phone, hey girl. She would call, hey girl, you all right? Okay, bye. She would get off of the phone because it was hard for her to even hold it. So I'm like, why is she avoiding me?
It's for the
But she didn't want
best.
to talk. Yeah, she didn't want to talk to me, but it was eating her up also because
Uh-huh.
I kept, I hope it's a girl. Like, I have enough boys and blah, blah, blah. And she just wanted to tell me so bad. So one day, my husband and I, we were talking. I was like, I gotta know. Like, I gotta know. And so she happened to call. And we were planning like this whole baseball theme, right? And we just happened to call her because he was like, call her and see if she's at home. She doesn't work. So I called, I was like, hey, Nakia, what you doing? She was like, girl, I'm at home. And I was like, okay, we headed over there. And she's like, what? I'm like, we gonna go and get that little baseball thing that you have because she had already ordered it. I was like, forget them cupcakes and all that other stuff. We're gonna find a field and we're gonna throw that ball and my son's gonna hit it and we're gonna know what's we coming now. And so she lived like Dallas, like Carrollton, whatever. We were in traffic. Hmm.
So so you did it before the party.
Yes, we could not wait. We was like, forget the party. It's canceled. We're going to go there. It was today. Okay.
Oh,
And
that's
so I was like
funny.
18, 19 weeks at that time. And yeah, so we drove over there and we picked her up and her son. And so my husband, we're all in the truck and we're just driving around trying to find like a park or something. And so he found this field that was in between these two apartment complexes. And he's, I'm gonna just drive up here. We're in a suburban. So he's like boop, boop, over the curb and he drives, we get out. And so he throws it to my son tomorrow. And my son hit that ball and it came out pink and I lost all of my breath. Like it took my breath away. I was so excited. And yeah, that's how I found out. And there was some people on their balcony in one of these apartments and they're like, woo, congratulations. And yeah, I couldn't even breathe.
Oh,
It
how
took my breath away to confirm that it was a girl.
it was confirmation, more like an
Yes,
oh, I
yes, it
love
was
that.
confirmation. Yeah,
Yes.
that was another reason why I named her Joy because that moment was so joyous for
Mhm.
me. And she had a whole nother middle name set, but I was like, We have to name her Joy. We
It
have.
fit. So during your pregnancy, was there any product that you couldn't live without that helped you through pregnancy that you could recommend?
I did get a pregnancy pillow, but it was, oh, I think I was maybe second trimester going into my third trimester. And that was just when I really just started feeling the
Mhm.
back pain. Other than that, I was fine. So the pregnancy pillow definitely helped me once I got it, right? When I really needed it. It really did help me. I still have it. I call it my boyfriend, and the kids do not like it. I'm like, hey, where's my boyfriend? I named him Denzel Washington. I named my boyfriend Denzel. And my kids are like, Mom, really? What's dad gonna think? He knows the relationship that me and Denzel have. Okay.
I
So
understand.
So pregnancy pillow list. And then as far as like any other product, I hand make body butters and stuff. That was
Ooh,
definitely helpful. Body oils definitely helped because I didn't really get any stretch mark. I saw a stretch mark come the day before my water broke, and it was just a little red mark. And I was like, oh, really? You wait this long before you come? But okay, I'll take it.
that's
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so we have a house full of boys. How
Yes.
do you prepare for this baby girl?
I didn't do any classes. Like my closest cousin and my best friend, one of my best friends, they have girls. So that was like my class. I've watched them closely. I've watched them grow up and I hear the stories and we talked about things. I've even asked them certain questions and everything. But yeah, like that's been my class really. And
Mhm.
then I have sisters. Having sisters and then raising your own is different, but also to see characteristics in your own that are similar to people that you're already close to or have been raised with. But no classes to prepare, but just my heart was already ready for her.
Did you have any cravings or did you change your diet at all or anything?
I craved collard greens at first. I don't know. I would make a pot of greens. Never did that before, but I did.
What?
So yeah, it was crazy. I wanted collard greens and pizza and Lucky Charms and apples.
What a combination, a variety.
Yeah, like I didn't put the apples in the Lucky Charms, but I wanted them like together. I wanted them together. But yeah, other than that, but those cravings, they didn't last throughout the whole pregnancy. But it was more they came and they went. But just throughout the rest of the pregnancy, it was more, okay, I want this. I didn't really crave specific things, but what I wanted and I want it now.
How was your blood pressure during your pregnancy?
My blood pressure was great during my pregnancy. I felt
Wow.
like I didn't have any blood pressure issues at all. And it was my main concern, but I tracked it daily, twice a day, and it would be like 117 over 72 and 122 over like 80s. And it was just perfect blood pressure all the way through. There was at one point, oh, how many weeks was I? 30, was I 30? I think between 28 and 30 weeks. I was having contractions. I forgot about this part. I started having contractions. And I'm like, why are they so close? They were very close together. And went to the hospital and they gave me, oh, all these names just went away from me. But they gave me the shot to where it stops the contractions, right? And came home. They were like, I was like, okay, they stopped. I'm good. We drove home. And by the time we exited to get on to exit to my street, I started feeling them again. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. Let me just go home and lay down a little bit, pay attention to my body and whatever. And so my husband's, okay, we got a game tonight because he coaches the boys baseball. We got a game. So are you good? I was like, yeah. So they stopped for a little bit. And so I'm like, yeah, if anything changes, I'll call you. I'm here. And actually, it was All Star season, I remember. And I'm here at home, and the contractions, they're like, okay, these are super cool. And my best friend Angie, she called, and I was like, hey, what you doing? I'm like, I'm contracting again. And I was like, I need to call Sam. She was like, I'm gonna just come over there and get you because if he's at the game, it's gonna take him a minute, so I'm gonna come and get you and take you to the hospital. He could just meet us there. So I'm like, okay. So she came and got me. We went to the hospital, and so they kept me a day to monitor me. They gave me the potassium to stop it. And it did stop. However, I had a reaction to the potassium. Oh my God, I blocked this. They gave me potassium. They stopped it, but I ended up having a reaction to that. And it caused me to have a lot of anxiety at the hospital because I'm like, what is going on? I can't breathe now.
Oh,
I had a reaction to the potassium, and so they had to give me, what did they give me for that? Vinegar to keep me from vomiting, and something else for the anxiety, and then oh, I can't remember what it was all a blur. And but yeah, so I had that stopped the contractions, and I didn't have any more after that.
oh,
And that
good.
was like between 28 and 30 weeks or so, because I'm like, it's way too early for this baby to come. And so after that, everything was fine. Everything was fine throughout the pregnancy. Because leading up to that, there was nothing, like no issues.
Wow.
And then that happened because I'm like, girl, you trying to come? Just stay a little bit longer. We'll
Yeah.
see you in a minute. I'm excited to see you, but
Right.
not right now. Because I didn't have nothing ready.
How was this pregnancy compared with your son?
I felt great throughout this pregnancy. My son, I felt great, but I think when I was pregnant with him, there were more like outside things that were affecting me and like things that were going on that was stressful. So those things kind of just a lot of outside noise when it came to the pregnancy with my son. I didn't feel as pretty with him, but it was still a good pregnancy. But with him, he almost came early and I didn't have any contractions or anything, but there was no movement with him. And I think
Mm.
I was at 22 weeks, 20, yeah, about 22 weeks with him. And I ended up being in the hospital because he's in there messing with the umbilical cord and causing his oxygen to go down. He still just messes with stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he was in there messing with the umbilical cord. So I had to stay in the hospital for a good 3 days and lay on my left side. It would not
Mm.
let me turn over. And it was crazy. It did like laying on that side, it became numb and the numbness started to hurt. And I'm like, please just let me just, I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. So of course I had to be catheterized, but I had to stay on that left side because that's the side that brings more oxygen to the baby. And yeah, that was painful. But after that, the rest of the pregnancy was fine. And he
Do
came right on time. He was born maybe 4 days earlier than his due date, but
Oh,
he was
wow.
fine.
So
Yeah.
was this pregnancy with your daughter, was it easier or harder, would you say, or the same?
I say with easier only because of there was no outside noise this
Gotcha.
time. I
Okay.
was able to enjoy the pregnancy more than I
Mhm.
was with the first one.
Gotcha.
Even though the first one, the pregnancy was fine itself, but just everything else going on took away from me just actually sitting in this and being able to enjoy it. This time I was able to actually sit in this and enjoy it and just be a girl
Yeah,
and just feel all the feels and get doted on and waited on, and it was nice.
I love that. So tell us, what was your birth plan for your baby?
I wasn't sure if I wanted to do because I had a C-section with my son. So I was like, do I want to try out the vaginal birth or do the C-section?
Mhm.
And so I was open to both, but still scared of both, still
Mhm.
terrified of both
Mhm.
because I'm like, what is coming out of what? You cutting it out of what? All of it still terrifies me. Even though I've worked in these clinics for forever, it's still, oh my God, when it's actually you. I wasn't sure on that yet. But then we ultimately decided, okay, let's go with the C-section. And then also just the environment that I wanted. I wanted a calm environment. And I had this everything typed out and ready to hand to them and everything. Didn't get to do that
Uh,
because at the time my water broke and everything, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
uh-huh.
And so I didn't even get to grab it and take it with me so they have everything laid out like I wanted it to.
Uh-huh.
But I talked to one of the nurses and she was able to make sure I got some of the things that I wanted,
Uh-huh.
just like the dim lights. And I didn't get the soft music or anything like that. But it worked out. It was fine.
How far along were you when your water
I
broke?
When my water broke, I was 36 weeks on the dot. 36 weeks. She was born like right at 4 weeks early.
Hmm.
And so I was 36 weeks and it was the 11th of June at 2:30 in the morning. And actually it was about 3:30 because my husband had just got in the bed at 2:30. He was upstairs on his computer working. And I got in the bed and laid down. And what's crazy, we were laying instead of like at the head of the bed, we were laying like across the bed because for some reason that was more comfortable for me. So I was like, "Can we sleep this way?" He's yeah, babe, whatever you need.
Oh, what a good husband.
So he's like, it's me and the pregnancy pillow and my husband, and we're like sleeping. So he had just went to sleep, and I'm laying there and I'm sleeping, and I just feel like this trickle, and I'm like, "What's that?" So I'm like, "Let me go to the bathroom." So I go to the bathroom. As I'm washing my hands, I'm like, trickle again. I'm like, I know. I'm not doing this on myself. I'm like, let me try to pee again. So I'm like, and it's trickle. I'm like, but I don't feel nothing. So I stand up and it's just like triple. So with my son, it was just like, this was more like a drip. I'm like, so I'm like, okay. And then it stops. So I'm like, I'm gonna get back in the bed. If it happens again, I'm gonna get up and we're just gonna go. And but it was like clear, like with my son, it had a little tint of color to it. But anyway, so I'm laying in bed, I'm Googling like, does your water break? Does it just feel like drops or whatever? Because it didn't feel like that with my son. It
Huh?
was more of a gush with him.
Yeah,
So I'm like, can it feel like this? And this gets your water's breaking. I'm like, dang, okay. But I'm like, so I'm like, 36 weeks. I'm Googling like 36 week, will your baby be okay? Like I'm just Googling all this stuff, trying to make
sure.
sure this is what's really happening and is she gonna be good and
Hmm.
all of that. And so I'm like, okay, let me get up. Mind you, I've already packed all of my bags and everything. They had been packed since I went in the hospital that first time when I was contracted. So I
Yeah,
was like, let me
at
just,
30
something
weeks.
told me to get, yeah, something told me to just get it together. So I got everything together. And so I got up. It's like I'm gonna let him sleep a little bit, but I'm gonna just at least put my toiletries because that was the last thing I needed to pack. So I'm like, I'm gonna put my toiletries in. All the while I'm still dripping. So I have a towel on the floor and I'm just like scooting the towel as I walk to try to pack my little toiletries and all that. Put me on some clothes. So I sit down and I was like, babe, he's home. I was like, my water broke. And he's what? Okay, so he's freaking out. Mind you, he's had kids, but he's never experienced this part, right? So
Okay.
he's like all over the place, and I'm just like watching him run amok while I'm just
Panic.
waiting on him to get ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. He's you ready? I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get the kids. I'm like, why? Just leave them here. He's like, no, they want to be there. So my kids were there the whole every step
Wow.
of the way. Yeah,
That's
and it kind
cool.
of makes me happy because they saw everything, not like everything, but they experienced like even some of my doctor's appointments, like they were there. They're like, okay, what the doctor say? Tomorrow, my son, the 11-year-old, he's okay. It's Friday, so you're another week. You're 23 weeks now. The next week, okay, Ma, you're 24 weeks now. It's Friday, right? Yep. Okay. Okay. And we go to how many weeks? We go to 40 weeks. Okay. Like he was keeping track of it.
That's
How you
cute.
feeling? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm glad that they get to see this because when it's their time with their wives,
Yeah.
they have the knowledge. So yeah.
Yeah. What a great experience for them to have. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, your husband is panicking.
Mhm.
Everybody goes to the hospital. Then what?
Yes, everybody goes to the hospital and they're like Nintendos and headphones and blankets and pillows and they're ready and waiting. And dad, he's back there with me, but then he'll check on them. I'm like, check on the kids, they're in the waiting room. And he's letting them know baby's coming. And they're like, okay. So when they finally meet her, like should have sent you some of those pictures. To like just the wonderment like in their eyes, like it was a blessing to see.
Walk us through what happened.
Yeah. So when I had her, of course, I had a C-section and how did it go? I got there because by that time my contractions were a little heavier. or more intense. And so they get me back there, and everything went by. Oh, let me see. Ooh, no, it didn't go by fast. It seems at the time it went by fast, but it didn't because she wasn't born till 7:48 in the morning. So I get there, and of course, there's this process of intake and all of that. So my sons, they're waiting, and they can come visit with me at this point. They're just like, I can't wait to see her. Oh, she's gonna look like me. Oh, she's gonna be. And anyway, so when it's time, I actually had an anxiety attack on the table right before the C-section started.
No.
Yes, because I don't even know the thought of this is a new doctor. I don't know these people. Nobody in here looks like me. Like I'm telling them I feel this way and she's not paying attention. It just freaked me out. And the fact that, oh my God, I'm 42, 43, and I'm about to get cut open. These people aren't listening to me. It was a lot. So I freaked out. And you hear the heart rate monitor, and it was just like beep, beep. It was just going up and up. And so the anesthesiologist was like, yeah, I think you're having an anxiety attack. And I'm just like, yeah. And he ended up giving me a little barf bag, and I was just talking to me and trying to calm me down. I'm like, just get my husband in here. He wasn't in there yet. And so I'm like, please just get him in here. Just get him in here. And when he came in, I was just like, okay, okay. You hear the monitor, like, the heart rate slows down a little bit. And I'm like, okay, let's just get this, let's get it going. And so they did the C-section and just when they raised her up and I saw her little face. And of course the tears flowed and all of that because she's everything.
Did they give you an option to have a vaginal birth because you were already in labor? Or was it just like a C-section is the plan?
The C-section was the plan, but when I got there, I was like, oh, I was just like, can I go ahead and have the vaginal birth or whatever? And no one was really listening to me. No one was really listening. It was a different hospital than where I had my son, and I just didn't feel like it's like the energy that I was getting from the doctor, I got at the hospital as well during the birth process. Okay, if that makes sense. I had one nurse really that paid attention, but she can only do so much. But yeah,
How did breastfeeding go with her?
it was a struggle at first. Like she would latch. It's like she was sometimey with her latch. Okay, I'll latch today. Okay, tomorrow I'll latch today. So I'm like, you are a bougie, high maintenance little girl. But she did latch for the most part. But I, of course, made sure I was pumping and all of that. And then eventually I just kept pumping. I think, oh, she was maybe about 5 or 6 months when I just was like, okay, her latch is becoming very few far in between and it's getting more difficult. So I just kept pumping until she was about 13 months.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, thank you.
How was your experience pumping? Because you did it full time, basically.
Yes, did it full time. It was challenging. I won't say a struggle, it was challenging because you hear of all of these people who are like oversuppliers, right? Like,
Yes.
I want to be that because I want to be able to donate milk back because that donated milk helped me and my baby. So I want to be able to give that back. Yes. No, that
No.
wasn't it. I was not a oversupplier at all. I was a just enougher.
And that's
Just enough.
okay. That's perfect.
It is okay. And it was a blessing. However, it was I'm trying not to use the word stressful, but it would always be a concern because certain things would make your supply drop. Oh, if you're stressed or if you're sick or
Mhm.
something. And I'm like, if my supply drops below this just enough, is it going to be enough? Will I have enough? So that was always a concern of mine. And then I worked up to build a freezer stash. And so we have a separate fridge in the garage. Power went out one night and
Oh,
we didn't know. And yeah, so I lost that whole stash.
oh, how
So
sad. If you cried, that's okay.
yes, I cried for
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I had to like try to build that back and it was very hard. Then I ended up getting sick and my supply dropped. So I had to take from that stash, you know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
Yeah, it was hard. It was very hard, but
Yeah.
I made it to 13 months.
You worked
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. And what's crazy is that I miss it for some reason. I didn't know that you could grieve the process of not breastfeeding or pumping anymore. It's crazy. I somewhat miss that little time because sometimes it would create moments of just time for myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just pump or just the fact that I'm providing this for my baby.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I do miss it sometimes. I've kept all of my supplies. I don't even know why I'm holding on to them.
I'm the same way. And that
Yeah,
moment, like it's 4 and 3 in the morning, you're like, I just get to do nothing. Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Best silence ever.
That's funny. Yeah, you're right. I get that. Okay. Oh, so tell us about your recovery. How was it? Because it
My
was tough.
Yes, it was very tough. After having my baby on June 11th, I was home on June 14th. She was just 4 days old, 3 days old. I got home on the 14th, but I started experiencing some pain that I had never felt before. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a different C-section pain. I'm a little older now. Okay. Having first baby at 32. Now I'm 43. Maybe it's just different. But something kept telling me like I want to pay attention to my body, but I'm like, no, this pain is not where the C-section scar is. This is somewhere else. This is different. I'm not able to move. It just got so excruciating one day, and my husband said, we're gonna go to the hospital, right? So we went to the hospital. I'm explaining this pain. Of course, some people just don't believe me, but there was this one nurse again who was like, I got you. Okay. I'll never forget. She was like, I got you. And I'm explaining things to her. She had to walk me to the bathroom. She had to lift my legs because I couldn't move them. Even like we have a Suburban, like trying to get up in the truck. Yeah, I don't want to do it again. I couldn't like laugh. Like my husband, like we laugh all the time in this family. I couldn't even laugh. Like it was just hard. So anyway, get to the hospital. They're running all this tests and all this. Comes back, I have a rectus sheath hematoma, which is basically I'm bleeding out in my abdomen. I'm bleeding out in my abdomen. I'm asking for answers like, how did this happen? Did something go wrong in the C-section? Nobody's able to tell me anything, whatever. They just said a blood vessel rupture. Actually, I didn't get that answer until after I'm sent home from the hospital and I follow up with my doctor. So this is a week or so later,
Oh
right?
my
Of me
gosh.
being released from the hospital. So
Jeez.
anyway, I have a rectus sheath hematoma. There's this bleeding glob of me bleeding in my abdomen. It stopped bleeding out, but it coagulated, which made this really jelly-like substance of blood, right, in my abdomen. It's too thick for them to drain, and it's too fatal for them to do surgery and get it out. So I had to basically wait to see if my body would reabsorb this naturally. In that waiting process, if I made a sudden wrong movement or did too much or bent the wrong way or lifted the wrong way or could be doing anything, it could rupture again and I would bleed out and not be here. So that's scary because I'm like, any day something could happen and I won't be here. The pain of that, the sadness of that brought on postpartum depression for me. The healing process of that was very long. I had the baby in June, found out about this hematoma by the end of June. I didn't start feeling like myself until, or close to myself, until November. So that's
Oh,
a long process of healing after
hmm.
having a baby versus, oh, 6 weeks, you're able to do what you normally do.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. So I'm just getting back into feeling like me and oh, okay, I'm able to go on my walks or maybe I can jog a little bit or run after my toddler. So yeah, it was a very long and scary healing process.
How long did it take to go
Yeah.
away?
They said it takes about 2 to 3 months based off what the doctor said and what I'm researching. It takes 2 to 3 months to go away. Mine took about 4 months to go away. Yeah, yeah, a long time. Even though they said it wasn't there, just the mental aspect of, or just the mental part of that, I'm just like, is it really going away? Any twinge I feel, I'm like, hey, I need to get into the doctor. Can you do an ultrasound? Like anything, because I wanted to just be sure
Yeah.
that it's gone. And I'm still like subconsciously cautious of the things that I do. And who wants to live like that? But it's there. And sometimes it makes me really emotional. Like even like about a week ago, I was just in the bathroom grooming myself and just sometimes it comes to me and I just start crying because it was very scary. And
Yeah.
sometimes I can talk about it and it doesn't bother me, but there's moments where I'm like, I could have gone. And yeah, it was hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. It was a life-threatening experience. I
Yeah,
understand
definitely.
how you can get emotional about that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention about your pregnancy or birth?
It was a beautiful experience, the pregnancy. Some parts were a little scary, but all in all, it was a blessing. It
Mhm.
was definitely a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us, do you have plans to have more kids in your 40s?
I do not. My husband is so open to it, but I don't know. The thing is that I would, but with having that hematoma, like that scared me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I really could have another one. Like I could, but it was just so much joy. But I'm like, the reality of is, will that be best? Because I don't want that happening again, or it be worse. That's the part that scares me the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has been your biggest challenge being pregnant in your 40s?
The biggest challenge of being pregnant in my 40s was, I would say, just because my blood pressure wasn't an issue during the pregnancy, but when it came down to it at the latter end of it, the preeclampsia, it did come. Even though I was tested for it earlier, it did come later in the pregnancy. So that was a concern. I wanted to make sure that I and the baby was okay. But then just other than that, the people are always going to have something to say. Even to this day, I get judged about why would you have a baby at 43? This is my uterus. Okay. But there's a lot of judgment in it, but it's just noise.
Yeah.
And we can shut out noise. Other than that, it was great. I just, setting up boundaries was, I won't say a challenge, but it's very important.
Mm.
Create boundaries with people, family included. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything you'd recommend that would help for someone for pregnancy and birth over 40?
I would recommend boundaries are important because your peace of mind and your health is what's going to help you bring this baby into the world, right? Your support system and making sure you have systems in place, right? Yeah. Making sure the communication with your doctor is great. And if you don't have a doctor or that has great communication, get a doula or coach or just somebody close to you that's going to be an advocate. Pay attention to your body. Know how you feel. Don't let anyone tell you how you feel. You know what you're experiencing. I feel like pregnancy and motherhood gives us another, it's like our seventh sense, that your sixth sense, maybe your common sense, but motherhood is something totally different. So there's a superpower there that other people may not understand. So lean into that and just be aware and be very self-aware. Yeah. But I feel like I never thought I would have a baby over 40. And I feel like I feel stronger in doing so. And I feel like it's a beautiful thing. I feel like I'll live longer because of that. And I think it's a great time because 40 is awesome. I didn't think that would say that at younger ages, like 40, what? That is so old. It is not. It is a really good place to be in. So I think it's a blessing and just go ahead, do it.
I love it.
Mhm.
What advice would you give yourself when you were pregnant if you could go back?
I would give myself the advice of what I just said. I wish somebody had told that to me.
And a lot of our listeners are trying to conceive over 40. What would you tell
Mhm.
those women?
I would tell them to relax in your femininity and trust that your body is going to do exactly what it's made to do. And not to worry because that causes dis-ease and disrupts all the harmony that we naturally have within our bodies. Our bodies, they know what to do. They're very fascinating. Try not to even think about it. Of course, you're going to think about it, but just don't let it consume you and trust in timing, like God's timing. Everything is going to happen just when and how it's supposed to. You have to trust and lean into that.
I love that. And let's talk about your business real fast. How do you help other
Okay.
women?
Rooted in Joy, maternal wellness is, I'm so excited, but it's my new baby and it's called Rooted in Joy and it's Joi after my daughter's middle name. And it comes from a space of where I was during my pregnancy and not having a doctor that would listen to me or give me the time of day. And it comes from a place of being in pregnancy and postpartum depression and not having a person I could lean on or someone I could express these things to that would understand. And even with having the complications that I had, not knowing anyone else who had experienced the same thing. Okay. And so Rooted in Joy came about because I just wanted to be that person that women could come to or a safe space, a sacred space where they could come and discuss certain things about the pregnancy, be guided through certain things in the pregnancy, or even if, like with motherhood, we tend to lose ourselves, right? And there's a certain rediscovery that we have to do when it comes to, okay, some people are seeing like, oh, I'm just a mom. No, you're not just a mom. You're still a woman. You're still like, and I tell my kids all the time, I was Stephanie before I was mom. So I'm going to get back to Stephanie before mom, because mom is just a role, right? It's one of the, it's a very important role, but we still have to remember who we are at our core, because that's going to help us be a better mom. So it's about just getting through motherhood and postpartum and self discovery again in this new space because you're becoming a whole new version of you. And so let's just try to get to know that person.
I love that. So this is like
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching?
Yes, it is. It is. Like I said, I have a background in healthcare and then went to school and got my degree in with an emphasis in health and wellness. So it's more of wellness as well as the coaching you through this journey. So a little bit of holistic and Western combined. It comes from a really genuine space. And I hope that people can resonate and see that.
I love that. Now tell us,
Thank
how
you.
can our listeners connect with you?
I am on all social platforms that I am rooted in joy. Joy is spelled Joi. So I am rooted in joy on Instagram and TikTok and Threads. But I believe on Facebook it's just rooted in joy. And then my website is www.rootedinjoy.com.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show
Thank
and
you,
sharing your
Jamie.
story.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.